We are now going to bring in Donald Trump Jr., Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization and President Trump's son. Don, welcome to the show, as always. So you see there a strong message from President Trump to the agitators, to the looters, not standing for what so many mayors, unfortunately, and governors around the country have stood for. So what do you make of his strong statement and his executive order?
Listen, I think it's really important for people to hear that. I think people have to see it. You see what's happening now. They arrested the ringleader of one of these monuments. They're starting to arrest people that are desecrating public property. This is not stuff that would be allowed to go on, and it shouldn't be by anyone. So him stepping up and doing that when governors or these leftist mayors who have allowed this stuff to happen in their cities, when they won't step up, someone else has to. Someone has to be held accountable. I don't want CHOP and those kind of zones coming into my backyard. And that's what the left is trying to do. They want that to take over the rest of America. They don't want rule of law. And that would be Joe Biden's America.
Well, Don, I have news for you. If you're living in New York, and I believe you are, they're here. That Occupy movement is right across from City Hall, and they've already defiled a lot of it, and there's graffiti everywhere. And it was embraced by this mayor, and across from Trump Tower, they're putting Black Lives Matter if this mayor has his way in the street. What's your reaction to the mayor, this provocation with those words?
Well, listen, I think, he's obviously been a total disaster. He's done a terrible job handling anything as it relates to New York. Honestly, that was the case prior to COVID. COVID just highlighted his gross incompetence, really. So you see what's going on. I mean, they're almost encouraging this kind of behavior, and that's the problem. This can't go on. We don't want it to spread beyond that. This is perhaps the reason why you're seeing these spikes, because you can't go to work, Brian. You can't go to church. And you sure as heck can't go to school, but we can gather and protest and not be socially distanced. I mean, the hypocrisy that comes out of all of these people's mouths is truly disgusting. It's time to stand up for law and order. And again, if these mayors won't, and frankly, if they're sitting there encouraging the burning down of their cities, the desecration of monuments, this is no longer about racism anymore, Brian. Don't forget, they're ripping down and desecrating statues of Lincoln. I'm not unsure how that works. Grant, they're desecrating World War II monuments dedicated to black soldiers who fought for America. I mean, this isn't about racism anymore, Brian, and we have to stop pretending that it is.
Well, I tell you what, before the pandemic hit, Don Jr., without a doubt, the economy was on fire and, we went way down. But now we got two great jobs numbers yesterday. We got two yesterday because of today's holiday. It is a federal holiday. Almost 5 million jobs created. The unemployment rate dropped about 2%, and the labor participation rate now at 61.5%. It was the largest one-month job gain in history. And of course, the president, in comments from the White House yesterday, made it very clear we're coming back. The big question is, how far will we come back by the first Tuesday in November?
Listen, I think the reality is, we're going to make a strong comeback. The fundamentals of Donald Trump's economy, the economy that Donald Trump created, where there was not a single economic metric where we were not significantly better off than before. He did that under unprecedented incoming, with unprecedented resistance from the left, under impeachment, Russia hoaxes, everything, and he was still able to pull it off because he is a business guy. He knows how to build. He is the guy that can bring us back. Will all of that come back by November 3rd? I don't think so, but you have to look at the record. You have to look at the one guy that actually did what he said he was going to do as it relates to the economy. Remember, Barack Obama said, "Oh, Donald, there's no magic wand for that." Well, abracadabra, there is. We need a real leader who can bring this economy back, who can regain and reset the goals and the records that he broke with the economy before. Not Joe Biden, who sat in Washington, D.C. as a career swamp creature bureaucrat. You cannot name a single accomplishment of his. If he knew how to fix all of the things he's talking about now, if he knew how to fix racial issues in America, if he knew how to fix the economy, if he could deal with China, which Donald Trump also did for the first time in modern American history and got a trade deal done with them so they stopped taking advantage of us. If Joe Biden could do any of those things, why didn't he tell Obama? Why didn't he do any of them? One single one, other than help grow China in the first 50 years of his Washington, D.C. career. Guys, give me a break. This is the epitome of the swamp. It's Donald Trump versus Joe Biden is the swamp versus liberty. This election is critical.
Right.
You see what's going on. It's the election between freedom and socialism,
Don?
between law and disrule.
Famously, your dad revamped his election team and went on an incredible roll and then won the presidency. Brought in Steve Bannon, Kellyanne Conway, Dave Bossie, and others. Do you think your dad's team needs a revamp now in order to pull off the same victory?
I don't know that it needs a revamp. I think we just got to, get going. Don't forget, in 2016, initially the media was almost hoping for us to win, not because they wanted Donald Trump to win, but because they figured he was the best shot for Hillary to win. It's a little different now. We don't have that element of surprise. They see us, they know that we're real, they know that we're a threat, and the media has stopped functioning as journalists. They're not journalists. They are activists. They are purely left-wing activists doing whatever they can to destroy Donald Trump. You saw that during the first 4 years as they're pushing all the hoaxes, all the uncorroborated things, when Donald Trump's breaking every record as it relates to the economy.
But no
despite
personnel changes with your
resistance,
team?
They are still going 96% negative coverage. So I think our team is great. We got to get in the swing, but we got to recognize what we are up against, and we got to recognize the billions of dollars in free cover-ups that the media is going to give to cover up Joe Biden's, frankly, gross incompetence, his terrible decisions on these issues over the decades, his terrible racial record, his terrible economic record building up China. I mean, that this guy is the best that the Democrats have truly says something.
Don, thanks so much for being here as always. Obviously, key issues going to be the economy and also going to be the uptick in crime in many of these cities around the country and the lack of leadership in those cities. We'll continue to watch follow the
100%.
election coverage, but thanks for your take. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you, guys. Happy 4th.
You too.